So much learning every day.
Yeah, for sure.
But you wouldn't want it any other way.
No, definitely.
You know?
I agree.
That's why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Like when I meet business owners, I'm like, oh, you're a special person.
Right. Yeah. It takes a lot.
It does. Yeah. And you have to love what you do or else you're not going to last very long.
No, definitely. Right? It's too much work.
Yeah. Like I look forward to my coaching calls. I look forward to seeing my clients, like my in-person clients.
Yeah.
Like,
it doesn't feel like a job.
Doesn't feel like work.
Yeah. That's important. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our favorite part of the week. It's time to listen to Sounds of Health, where we share the stories, people, and resources that help others to improve their physical, emotional, and financial well-being. I'm your host, Dave McNiven, and today I'm excited to welcome our guest, Julie Bailis. Julie is a master health coach and personal trainer, and she helps women over 40 turn the challenges of menopause into opportunities to feel stronger and more confident in the next chapter of their lives. Julie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
I'm excited to have you here. And I know we've kind of thrown a few curveballs this morning. We've changed the whole setup of our podcast. Jason came in and had to catch up with us. So I appreciate your patience with
worries.
That. But I also am just excited to have you here because while we were doing all that, I feel like we've already talked so much.
I could talk to anybody.
Okay, good. There's a lot of things.
But you're also interesting too.
No, I appreciate that. A lot of things we covered that we'll probably just talk about again.
That sounds great.
So for the sake of our listeners and our audience, we are on Facebook Live right now. We're streaming. So thank you for anyone out there who's joining us live. Of course, the podcast episode will go up on Monday of next week. So you can listen to this episode anywhere you listen to your podcasts. And just really quickly, for anyone who is out there listening, please share the Sounds of Health. If you're here for Julie, that's fantastic. I know this is going to be a great episode, but we've had so many excellent guests that you can go back and listen and tell us what you think. So again, thank you again for joining us. We usually open with a little bit of an icebreaker question.
All right.
Are you ready for that?
I guess so. I guess I'll have to be.
All right. If you listened, then you might know what it is. But what makes you happiest these days?
Oh, what makes me happiest these days? Okay. It's going to sound kind of cheesy and corny, but that's okay. I recently, probably a year in, I discovered walking. I know that sounds not that exciting.
Walking.
I've been walking for years, right?
I would hope so.
For many years, but as a daily activity.
Yeah.
So it's been amazing for me. I mean, I had a realization about a year and a half ago that, I'm a personal trainer, I'm a health coach, and a lot of people, we talk about daily movement and getting steps in and, getting that 150 minutes.
Steps
10,000, 8,000, whatever, more. Usually
more
it's
than you're doing
more
now.
than what you're doing now, right? But I realized that, I was working out 3 days a week, but on those days that I wasn't working out, I was not moving very much. So I realized that I was essentially sedentary.
Right. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my gosh, I got to start, walking. And it started off very begrudgingly, like I'm going to walk the dog because nobody else is going to walk the dog. And I'm going to go to the stop sign. But slowly and surely it grew into something that I enjoy. And it's like a nightcap. Like we eat dinner and then I go for a walk and I'll catch up with friends in the neighborhood or I'll walk the dog or I'll go by myself for most of the time, probably about 45 minutes.
That's awesome.
But it didn't start off 45 minutes, please. It started off as 5.
Right.
And now it's something that it makes me happy. I look forward to the end of the day and dinner and my walk. And
that's awesome.
It.
I love that.
So it's
Are you
very
doing that
simple.
even the days when you're out there doing the workouts?
Absolutely.
You are.
Yeah.
So it's
because
just an add-on.
More of a mental decompression than anything.
Right.
And I really feel like, if you want to talk about exercise, more and more people are exercising for the mental aspect.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's true. My wife and I have always wanted that to be our practice. Have dinner, go for a walk. We love it when it happens.
Yes.
It happens rarely because we have practices or things going on with the kids. But as much as we can, we try to fit that in. Mm-hmm. And I probably get a few more in where I'm listening to podcasts as I'm walking.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my favorite things to do. Sometimes we have to take the dogs. We have a fenced-in yard now. But taking the dogs is more of a chore because they're not the best walkers.
Oh, yeah.
Our fault. But I do, yeah. I think that's something, it's really easy, right? There's not a whole lot of a barrier to just going for a walk.
Right. And people are like, well, how long should I go? Should I go at a certain pace? Let me just go.
Yeah.
Keep it real simple. Do what you can and then add to that.
Yeah. I think that's great.
Yeah.
So how did you get to where you are today? So you are a business owner, you're a health coach.
Yeah.
What was the path like? Where did you start and how did you get here?
I mean, how far back do you want to go?
You can go back as far as you'd like. I mean, did you grow up in Connecticut?
I grew up in Rhode Island.
In Rhode Island. Okay.
I'm a roadie girl.
Okay.
So to say that I transferred to Connecticut was really rough.
Oh, yeah? That's a tough thing? Okay.
Well, just because I grew up in a beach town and we're used to having people from Connecticut
Yeah.
invade in the summer.
Right.
And then when we moved and I got my Connecticut plates, I was like, oh, I'm one of them now.
Now you're going to go invade.
Now I'm good. And I do it every summer.
Awesome.
But I do love Connecticut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been here about 18, 19 years now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So you started in Rhode Island.
Started in Rhode
And
Island.
where'd you go from there?
I went to college and I became a high school Spanish teacher.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Where'd you go to school?
South Kingstown High School. Oh, URI.
URI.
Yep.
Okay. I was at URI for a brief
Were you?
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there 94 to 96.
I was there at the same time.
Oh, no way. We'll have to talk a little bit about
we will.
that.
I'm sure we're at the same parties.
I'm sure we were.
And then after that, I joined the Peace Corps.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you, at URI, you were education and you became a Spanish teacher?
Yep.
Okay. And you joined the Peace Corps right out of school?
Right out of school.
Oh, wow. What was that experience like?
Well, I joined because I found that I got the most, the best classes were taught by teachers that had outside experiences. Those ones that had real world experiences. And I thought, I want to be that teacher.
Yeah.
I want to have those real world experiences. And I said, send me anywhere. I don't care. I'm going to learn a language. I'm going to learn about a culture.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure they'd send me to a Spanish speaking country. Nope. They sent me to Kenya.
Wow.
In East Africa.
That's incredible. So you were not prepared language-wise for that?
No, but they were like, whatever. We'll teach you. You'll figure it out. And we did. I mean, Swahili is a lingua franca, so it's a mix of a couple different languages. It was a trade language.
Okay.
So it was fairly easy for me to pick up. I mean, I knew languages already.
Yeah.
So
what is a trade language?
So it's a language that, so Swahili was created from Arab traders that arrived on the east coast of Africa. So they mixed Arabic with some Portuguese because the Portuguese were everywhere.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then some Bantu languages.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it developed as a mix of
As
all
a
these.
trade language.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just for, merchants.
Right.
But then it grew into a very beautiful language that people still speak in, Tanzania, like they call it Sanifu, very pure version. But still, I mean, people in East Africa speak varying versions of Swahili.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you were able to pick it up and communicate while you were there?
Yeah. Well, during the training, I think it was about 3 months, they taught you that. But then you went to your individual sites, and maybe at your site, they only speak English or they speak the other mother tongue.
Gotcha.
But it was cool. So I was there for 2 years. I met my husband there.
Oh, wow.
I met a nice guy from Philly.
In Kenya.
In Kenya. And then from there, we moved to California where he got his PhD. But I think that's maybe where it started. I started rock climbing.
Okay.
And I started teaching rock climbing because I noticed that, I was bouldering. So do you know what bouldering is?
I do.
Yeah. So back in the late 90s, early 2000s, there weren't a lot of women that were bouldering.
Right. And can you, for our audience?
Yes, for the audience. So in an indoor rock climbing gym, you have routes, which you use ropes for, and the walls are taller. And bouldering, you just need a chalk bag and some, they call them crash pads, but mattresses kind of.
Right, yeah.
And it's shorter walls, probably about, 12 feet, 15 feet. It gets hard really fast. It requires a lot of technique, but it's much more social.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could tell I really like people. So I was like, I can talk and work out and talk some more.
Yeah.
But I realized that I was one of the few women there. And I've always done sports and I've done track and fields and I can hang out with guys, but I thought, there's not a lot of women here. And I would see the women come in with the boyfriends on the first dates. and, try rock climbing. And I remember watching a lot of women going, they could climb so much better, but they're not secure about the way they move. And maybe the boyfriend comes up and he's just like arm in his way, muscling up. I'm like, she could out climb that dude. I know she could. So I started teaching women's rock climbing classes.
Really?
And that's when I became really aware of how differently women work out and problem solve.
Yeah.
When I would teach my women's bouldering classes, they were all helping each other. And then I taught a mixed class with my friend Nate, who actually owns a climbing gym now in New Haven. And he said, oh, yeah, we do that same thing, but the guys compete in that game.
Oh, wow.
And the women work cooperatively.
Yeah.
And I just saw the confidence that came out from when they learned that they could actually be strong and be powerful and, feel great and be social with each other. So I was like, oh, I really like women's health and kind of speaking to that demographic.
Gotcha.
Fast forward, I became a yoga teacher.
Okay.
And I owned, Mountain View Wellness used to be in a different spot and used to be a yoga studio.
Oh, okay.
And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And we had to close that space down because people weren't coming to in-person yoga classes.
Right, of course.
Especially with my older population. I mean, we switched to Zoom and my older ladies were not having it. They were like, no,
that's a tough
not
change.
The same. Yeah. So then I had a bunch of girlfriends really wanting to do some exercises after work. And I was from the CrossFit world. So like, let's just do some workouts. You lead them. And that was really fun for me. And I thought, this is a really great way to serve my people. So then I became a personal trainer. And I thought, I'm going to be a personal trainer because I'm really good at it and I enjoy it.
Right.
That rolls into getting my own space after everything opened up. And I realized that my market is women over 40.
That's amazing.
Who want to get stronger, be more confident, but maybe they're concerned about hurting themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Or maybe they want more one-on-one attention. And once I got that word out, my schedule filled pretty quickly.
I bet. Okay, so there's a lot there. We jumped around a bit. Okay, so can we just rewind a little bit when you were in California?
Yeah.
Okay, so how long ago was that?
That was 1999 to 05.
Okay, and were you teaching at the time when you were living in California?
Yeah, I was also in graduate school.
Gotcha. Did you get a degree?
I got a degree. I have a degree in teaching English to speakers of other languages.
Fantastic. Okay, so you're working as a teacher and then kind of doing the climbing gym and stuff on the side. Gotcha. Then what brought you to Connecticut?
My husband got a job at Yale.
Ah, there you go.
His first job. Man.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah. Yale attracts a lot of people to this area.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense. So then you come to Connecticut what year?
06.
Okay.
Which was great because we just had our son.
Yeah.
So then my family was here. His family was in Philly. They could take the train up. It's been great.
Yeah, I'm sure the family was happy to have you guys back on
we were gone for like 7 years.
This side of the country.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. So then when you got here, were you teaching still? Did you go back into the school environment?
I did both. Yeah. So I taught for Hampton Adult Ed for a little bit. And I actually got back into rock climbing as well. So I started teaching rock climbing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. What gym were you doing that at?
Back in the day, it was the CT Rock Gym.
Okay.
And now that's City Climb. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's where I met my friend Nate, who owns Ascent. Shout out to them. It's a bouldering gym.
Yeah, I'm a member of Ascent. I go there bouldering.
Isn't it
of
the
course.
best?
Jason's a member of everything we talk
Nate's
about.
great. I used to go at the CT Rock Gym.
Okay, so we probably met each other.
Probably.
Yeah. So Nate and I used to teach together.
Oh, really?
At the CT Rock Gym.
And Ascent is in New Haven.
Yes.
Okay.
Over in District. Yeah.
It's so posh. Oh,
yeah, we pass by it a lot.
I love it.
Okay. That's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So you didn't go back into kind of the school system at all?
No.
Okay.
Because my kids were little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. So, and then what, did the yoga studio come right after that? How did you get to that?
Side note.
Yeah.
We left the country for a year. And we went to the Netherlands for a sabbatical. And that was wonderful. But that's when I was really thinking about, what do I want to do business-wise?
Yeah.
And I believe it was when after we came back, I got my yoga certification and realized that I wanted to go in that field. And that grew into me owning a yoga studio.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So just putting the pieces together of this incredible journey that you're on, I mean, really, it sounds to me like you started to identify the market that you wanted to impact and serve very early on.
Very early on, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then now to be able to do that with this business, how long has this form of the business been in place?
Probably about 3 years.
Okay. So kind of coming out of COVID is when you started that.
Yeah, that's when it really started to pick up.
That's amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is Mountain View Wellness.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about Mountain View Wellness. Where are you located? What do you offer? All of the good stuff.
All right. So we're located at 3496 Whitney Ave, right above M&T Bank. So right around Quinnipiac. I always say, you know, where the old Lady Oga's was. It's like such a cool towny thing to say. And everyone goes, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Everybody knows Lady Oga's.
Exactly. They haven't been there in years, but I just, say that. And everyone knows.
Right.
So it's a small, I would say a boutique studio. I work with 1 to 2 clients one-on-one, but I knew I had to scale because I have no more room.
Yeah.
Teaching one-on-one, I can't replicate myself.
Yeah.
And also what came out of doing the personal training was that people would come to me, they want to feel better. And then I realized you can't do that only through movement, right?
Yeah.
Nutrition, stress management, sleep, mindset.
It's all connected.
That's all connected. So then I really delved into health coaching. That was probably about 2 years ago that I got into health coaching. I thought, okay, this is the package. This is how I can really serve people to transform their lives on many, many levels.
So you start as kind of an expert in one field and you realize in order to serve your clients, you need new certifications, new education, all of those things. So really you never stop learning.
Never.
Okay. It makes sense. I can relate to that.
Right.
Especially as you're serving a certain clientele, like you want to do more for them, right? So you take on new ways of doing that.
Yeah. I really think the health coaching is what really pushed it over the edge for me.
Yeah.
Like, this is it. And in September, I'll be hiring more health coaches.
That's exciting.
Be transforming into a women's health coaching collective.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And all of my coaches that I'll be hiring have to have this certification that I got, because I think the program itself is very reflective of what I believe, practical advice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say advice, really working with a client who's in front of you.
Okay.
And asking them, what are you ready, willing, and able to do towards, what steps are you able to take towards your health and well-being?
So tell me a little bit more about that. How did you find that path and what exactly is that certification?
So the certification is called Precision Nutrition.
Okay.
And I took their level 1 years ago, and it's they really get you back into basics.
Yeah.
Really, people need to eat more nutrients, right?
Right.
Sleep more hours, right? And they talk about these domains, move more. It's not prescriptive. It's not about deprivation and hack diets and fad diets. You can't have this, and you get obsessed over something and you're changing all of these things all at once. And that's where people actually mess up is that they change way too many things. It's like juggling 12 balls at once, right?
Yeah.
I got to work out all the time and walk and be in bed by 8 and only eat these certain foods. And you can only white knuckle your way to health for so long.
Yeah, that's a great
And then you
point.
stop,
Yeah.
and then you quote unquote fall off the wagon, you go back to your old ways, which aren't necessarily bad, right? But I take the approach, and it was definitely influenced through Precision, to take a look at what you're doing now and turn that dial. If it's move more, then how much are you moving now? And then you move a little bit more.
Right.
So it really turns into sustainable long-term lifestyle change.
So a gradual change.
Gradual change. Okay. I sometimes use the image of boiling a frog, which is a little crazy. But before you know it, you're healthy.
Let me get that in my head for a second. I'm not quite sure where that one's going. How does that?
So how you can, I've never done this. I love frogs. But you put the frog in the water, you slowly turn up the heat. And then before you know it, it's boiled. But
Jason,
it doesn't.
You know how when you put the frog in the water and you slowly turn up the heat?
Surprisingly, yes.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
There's an old idiom about.
It's an idiom.
Is that okay? Maybe I'm missing out. I just don't want people to start going out there and finding frogs and throwing them in the bottle.
Don't do this at home, friends.
Okay. So tell me. Okay, do
but
that again.
But it's like a slow change. So you're turning up the heat, and the frog's like, "Hey, it's mighty warm in here." And before the frog knows it, it has boiled, right?
Okay.
I've never done it. I don't recommend it, but it is an old saying. And I kind of liken that to the health coaching, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there is absolutely some effort, but we take what the client's ready, willing, and able to do and just turn it up a notch.
Yeah.
And they say, okay, you know, this 5-minute walk, I did it. It was great. Next week, let's turn it into 10 or 15. And then you meet with your health coach every week.
Right.
And before they know it, they're like, you know, this is a habit for me. I don't need to work on this. It feels weird when I don't go on my walk.
Yeah.
Let's move on to something else.
That makes sense.
Right?
So it's kind of moving toward a transformation.
Absolutely.
But not transforming all at once.
No.
Because that usually has a side effect where you go back to those old habits.
Well, and you haven't changed your habits.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's
yeah.
really, habits are the basis of what you do.
Yeah.
Right? It's your lifestyle. So if you do some sort of fad diet thing, that's not a habit. That's just something you're doing for a while.
Right.
And then when you reach your goal, you stop.
Yeah.
And then you're back to square one. I mean, so many people can relate to that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, happens all the
But
time.
this idea of boiling the frog, of slowly changing your habits and adding a little bit more every week, or if that doesn't happen, what got in the way?
Yeah,
You know, and it's
right.
not a failure, it's feedback.
Yeah. I like that. So
Yeah.
it's not a failure, it's feedback. It's something that's telling you that it's not working and to adjust.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's where I think that's the magic of the coach.
Yeah.
Because then the coach can say, well, how do you want to adjust this? Versus if you're on your own, you're like, well, that didn't work. I guess I won't do that at all.
Right.
I'll try this other thing.
Yeah, it's so easy.
Right?
Yeah.
It's so easy to hop off and hop back on
For
to
sure.
some other thing. But, you know, to try something, figure out why that even worked
Yeah.
or why it didn't work. And to kind of, the coach will help you navigate around these roadblocks. So when
Right.
people say like, well, life got in the way, I'm like, news, that's life.
Yeah.
What are we going to do about it?
Right.
Right. So the coach helps you kind of navigate around this roadblock.
Okay, that makes sense. So
Yeah.
that's you kind of feel like that certification spoke to what you are and what you
Absolutely.
do. Okay.
Yeah,
Understood. So
definitely.
that sets kind of the table for anybody that's joining your collective. This is where we are. This is what we offer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what is it that you offer? So what do people reach out for, and what kind of programs or things are you offering?
Right. So right now I don't offer in-person personal training because I
Okay.
don't have any spots left.
Okay.
Occasionally people will reach out. If spot opens up, I open it up. But
Okay.
right now we are offering one-on-one health coaching. Typically for women over 40. Occasionally I'll take a husband in. Yeah, I've got a couple right now.
Okay.
And they're great. I have 2 couples actually. But yeah, it's for women over 40 that are looking to be healthy and not really sure what that means.
Okay.
Right? So we do a free phone call
Okay.
and we just check in with each other. And I ask questions like, so what are you struggling with? What have you tried in the past? Here's a really big, important question. Jason, you talked about motivation. You know, what's your big why? Why are you doing this? You know, I will not accept somebody that wants to lose so many pounds for a wedding. It's not, I've actually sent people away.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's too short term and it's external, right?
Yeah.
We have to be, you know, it has to be something internal. So if you're not really sure, oftentimes it's like, well, I want to lose weight. All right, great. Why?
Yeah.
Well, because I want to feel better. Why? Well, because of it. And oftentimes the answer is, I want to, spend quality time with my family, and I want to go on that hike, or I want to go on that European vacation and feel fit enough to
Right.
see all the places I want to see. It comes down to it has to really resonate with you deeply.
Yeah.
Not just because, on those days that you're not motivated, that scale's not going to be enough to motivate you. That dress is not going to be enough to motivate you. But,
Yeah.
living a happy life with my husband, with my grandkids or your grandkids or whatever, your kids, being
Yeah.
able to play soccer with your kids, being able to go on vacation and wear the swimsuit and feeling okay in it. Like, okay, this is me. And having a different relationship with your body too. That is a huge shift
I bet.
that people
Yeah.
don't necessarily come in for, but oftentimes they get.
Yeah. Gotcha.
They're thinking about the external, I want to look a certain way. And then all of a sudden they're like, I feel less pain. I get up in the morning and I have energy. I'm in a good mood. Like that's the language we speak,
Yeah,
these
gotcha.
alternative health metrics that I think people don't really give enough credit to.
Yeah.
There's really something to be said about being in a good mood a lot.
For sure.
Right?
It changes everything.
Yeah. And when you're in less pain, you tend to be in a better mood. And when you're in a better mood, you tend to be a better spouse and parent.
Very true.
Right?
Yeah. It's all connected.
Yeah. So the movement, but also, nutrition, stress.
Yeah.
Stress and nutrition go hand in hand. I didn't realize that.
Oh, definitely.
I realized a huge part. A lot of people are, I'm stressed out. I don't know what to eat.
Right.
Once we get them even sitting down, setting up a meeting with the spouse. Hey, what are we going to eat this week? All of a sudden, life is easier.
Yeah. I hate that question.
Right?
Honestly. What's for dinner? I hate my wife and I both can't stand that question.
When you should have eaten 20 minutes ago, what's for dinner? That's the worst.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, we get people, just really talking to their spouses on Saturdays. Like, what do you think? And then they get excited about it and they do the shopping.
Yeah.
I mean, I dreamed of being that person years ago. I'm like, I want to be coupon mom. Coupon mom knows what's going on. And I still am not a huge coupon person, but I feel like coupon mom, she knew what was for dinner.
Yeah.
And she wasn't stressed about it. And I'm not exactly coupon mom, but I do know it's for dinner most of the time. And it's not stressful anymore.
Yeah. Gotcha. So the health coaching, that's a free consultation to start.
Yeah, it's a free consultation.
And you kind of get down to what the why is during that.
Yeah.
Yeah, to see if you're the right fit.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then really what are your, what's your big vision? What's your big goal?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So the bigger why, but then what are you struggling with? And then which program do you want?
So there's different programs.
So we have 2 different programs.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a 6-week quick start program.
Yeah.
And that's for somebody that wants to try it out. And I actually just had a client finish that program. She just really needed a kickstart. She knew she wanted to do some certain things. And it's actually amazing. After 6 weeks, she was moving much better, keeping those commitments to the gym, hiking with her husband that she wanted to do more
That's great.
Yeah. And eating better for her, meal prep was a huge one.
Yeah.
And that was a game changer for her.
Gotcha. So in these, what's the second program?
The second one is a 3-month-long program. And that one's for people that know that they have a longer journey ahead and they really want to invest the time, money, and energy into seeing that transition because a lot can change. But the 3 months gives you time to mess up.
Interesting.
Right?
Okay.
3 months gives you time for life to get in the way
and
to see what happens.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So this coaching kind of helps them to identify what they need to incorporate into their lives. Because if you're not doing the one-on-one personal training, they're probably going to do that with somebody else, or
they can do it on their own. So I have a couple, they said, okay, they are members at Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
I can make workouts for Planet Fitness. And through my app, I can see when they finish the workout. I can see, they can communicate with me. It's really, technology is amazing.
So you have an app that you use?
I have an app that I use for communication and for, delivery of the workouts.
That's awesome. Now, were you technologically savvy enough to create that on your own?
The app?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
So when did you identify that something like that would be good for your business, and how did you get that developed?
I went through so many apps.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I knew that my clients needed them. And I knew eventually I wanted to have more virtual clients. So kudos to, thank you to all of my current clients who were guinea pigs for the apps. I have one client, Paula, was like, Julie, what app are we on? Which number is this? But so the app I use is very user-friendly. Okay. I have clients that swear they, barely use their phones, but they can use the app.
That's great. Yeah. Very cool.
It's been a game changer.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. And what are your goals with this collective? Like, as you're growing, do you kind of have a big audacious goal in mind?
Oh yeah, we're taking over the world.
Yeah. Okay, I love to hear that.
World domination. No, it's to reach as many women over 40 to create not just a community but a movement.
Okay.
I'm sure many of you see the Olympics. Come on, let's talk about the Olympics.
Yeah.
So many visions of women, strong women.
Yeah.
Strong women, and you can be strong at 20-something, you can be strong at 40-something, 50-something. I just turned 50. This idea of, I think oftentimes we think of women as emotionally strong, right? But we can also be very physically strong, and they go hand in hand.
Yeah, sure.
It's one of my favorite things is to teach 65-year-old women how to pick up a barbell.
Really?
That's very awesome.
That's fun.
That's very awesome. Taught many grandmas how to do that. And they just
Awesome.
light up. I'm like, see, you're farm fit.
That's excellent.
And it's a different way to look at your body because the message we get from society is we need to get smaller, right? To be worthy, to be worthy of love and to be attractive. And actually, honestly, we need to be stronger.
Yeah.
For our health.
Yeah, for sure.
For bone density, to fight frailty.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, getting stronger helps longevity. It helps activity.
Absolutely.
You can do more, right? I mean, it's so important for people to kind of focus on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how can people find you? Like when does a person reach out to you?
People can reach out to me via Facebook. You can go to my personal page even. That's open.
Okay.
Julie Bailis. Also the Mountain View business page. It's Mountain View Wellness. That's on Facebook.
Okay.
Instagram, Mountain View Wellness CT. And my website. That's shorter. MVWCT.
Okay.
.com. And then you can just shoot me an email too. Julie@MVWCT.
Okay.
Lots of different ways to reach me.
It sounds like there's no shortage of ways that people can find you.
No.
Okay, that's awesome. Now, what are some of the things for yourself that you incorporate? I know we talked a little bit about the walking and how that's making you happy these days.
Right.
Are there other practices that are just non-negotiables that help you to kind of stay healthy in whatever way?
Yeah, well, I realized, so I'm a power lifter too. I got into powerlifting 2 years ago. It was a bucket list thing. Like, yeah, I'll try that. And then I actually really enjoyed the training aspect. So I did a bunch of meets last year and then I took a break. Like, I don't want to look at another barbell again. And that was the worst mistake I had because then I was left to my own training.
Yeah.
And all I did was like deadlifts and burpees because that's what I like. And it was not a good situation. I wasn't as consistent. I really kind of just let myself down sometimes. I didn't really train. So the difference between training and working out is just doing whatever.
Yeah.
Not really with a plan. Training is when you have a program and you can see how you get stronger every day.
You're creating a goal.
You're creating a goal, but even you can see the progress every week.
Okay.
You do that same workout or some version of that workout and you can say, hey, you know what? I used X pounds this week, but I went up and that felt great.
Yeah.
Or I went down. Oh, and that's because I slept poorly the night before. So you can make those connections, right?
Yeah.
So I realized that I need to have a coach and I need to be training.
Yeah.
Because when I don't, I don't show up for myself as much. So I need that structure.
Yeah. That
So
makes
that's
sense.
something that is just going to be with me hopefully forever.
Right.
That I have a coach, that I show up for my workouts 3 days a week. I show up for my walking. Yeah.
So you would be a good fit for yourself as
I
a
would be
client.
a great fit. Are you kidding me?
Which is great. That has to help you identify those people too that you can
Yes,
help.
but oftentimes my clients aren't those people. They want to be those
Yeah,
people.
right.
And you just kind of got to put the structure in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have great clients.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I'm bragging.
That's-
Not even humble brag.
Please do. How many clients do you have?
I have about 25 right now,
Okay.
but that's why I got to grow. I mean,
Yeah.
I have to hire because it's a lot of like one-on-one, like we call it like a high touch program.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're creating a relationship with your client and all the health coaches do that. So in September, I'll be hiring coaches.
Yeah, that's exciting.
And so that way we can expand and reach more people. I mean, we reach people, we have in-person events that
Yeah.
help us reach people. That you don't have to be a paying client to show up for these. I've got an event on Sunday.
Really?
I'm teaching yoga on the beach in Milford.
That's awesome.
We were going to have it on Saturday, but Debbie, the hurricane, is kind of making everything really wet around
Who knows
here.
what it's going to do this weekend?
Yeah. So Sunday looks like it's better.
Okay.
And that's a fundraising event because I do the Closer to Free ride.
Awesome.
So I'm accepting donations for that.
That's great. What distance are you doing in the Closer to Free?
65.
Okay.
We've
Have you
done the
it before?
100.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is my 7th ride.
That's amazing.
Yeah. We did the 100 several times in a row.
Yeah.
It cracks me up to think about how we started.
Yeah.
Like I think I rode my bike in the 80s. And then we were like, yeah, let's do this 100.
Right.
It was like a motley crew. We didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
And now we're a great team.
I used to work for the Hole in the Wall Gang Camp, and we had two
yeah.
very big cycling events.
Yeah.
One that happened on the same day. It was always on the same day as Closer to Free. But those events are so incredible that they put together, and it's a great community of people that participate. in
Right?
them.
So well
Yeah.
done. Like when I'm out riding and I have like a Closer to Free jersey, people are just waving to me. It's really nice.
Yeah,
the
it's great.
day of is amazing, but I personally find the training rides the best.
Yeah.
You know, who else is going to show up at the old Spring Glen Hardware at 5:30 in the morning to do whatever, a 40-mile ride? My teammates.
Right.
And we just have the best conversations.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, how do you balance all of that in the business with your family as well? I mean, you have 2 kids, right?
Yeah. They're older now, though. They really don't
It gets a
care about
little
where I'm
easier
going.
now, but how about before when they were younger?
I brought my kids to a lot of CrossFit classes,
Yeah.
which is great. I mean, I think all people should do that,
Yeah.
and I see that with my clients. Once they start working out, the kids see that your children are watching everything you do.
For sure. You're an example.
You are an example. So I remember bringing my kids to my CrossFit classes, and my kids learned early on that, I would tell them, because my husband traveled a lot. I was like, you don't want to see mommy when she doesn't work out. So I'm going to be in a better mood, kids. And they're like, yeah, let's go. So my son would be under the table reading a book, and my daughter would be lifting the PVC pipe, working out with us. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. So you just make it happen. You
You
incorporate
gotta,
the kids.
it's about priorities, right? But I definitely take my weekends off. My evenings are off. I definitely spend time with my family. That's a priority for sure.
That's
but
great.
getting that balance. And that's also like being an example for my clients, right?
Yeah.
Being able to set those boundaries.
Right. Well, this has been such a great conversation. I mean, I think you and I could probably talk for a couple of hours about all of this. But congratulations on all the success with Mountain View Wellness. And it's exciting to hear that you're growing and that you're going to be hiring in September. So let us know if we can help you to get the word out about that.
For sure, yeah.
We'll definitely be sharing to our community all of the different ways, the many ways that people can reach you.
Yeah.
And to, definitely stay connected. If you guys feel like Julie is the right fit for you for all of the things that she offers, definitely reach out. I mean, it's so important to stay healthy, stay active, to keep moving. And I think it helps all of us too to start with that why.
Absolutely.
To define that, because in those dark times when you're having trouble staying motivated, you can go back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Great. Well, Julie, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having
Thanks
me.
for
This
joining
has been
us.
a blast.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us on Facebook Live, and be sure to share Sounds of Health as far and wide as you can. We appreciate your support, and thank you for listening. Sounds of Health is brought to you by Nutmeg Insurance Advisors and recorded at the offices of Nutmeg Advisory Group. The podcast is produced by Jason Carubia and Dave McNiven with music by Rob Hames. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Your support means a lot to us, and we appreciate it when you like, subscribe, and leave a review. If you know someone who you think should be a guest on the show, please email us at soundsofhealthpodcast@gmail.com. Each week, we help you move the needle toward better health by spotlighting the stories, people, and resources that inspire and motivate others. And we are just getting started. Help us share these sounds, and don't keep us a secret.